I got to do a better job at this. It's sharing out. Good afternoon, good morning, good whatever. No, actually, yeah, close, good, still afternoon. Welcome back to another Stay Hired Sunday. This is what we do every single week. If it's your first time tuning in, as one Crookshank here, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, former Division I college football player and current 5-time, soon to be 6-time published author and educator. Kimberly, how you doing?
I am great. Happy to be here. You have the birds chirping. It's a beautiful Sunday. I am Kimberly, founder and owner of Art and Nature Solutions, and I help businesses create disruption with better solutions in the workplace.
Yes, ma'am. And what we do, what the beautiful thing about what we do here is we keep it very organic, because when you're talking about a series or a show called Stay Hired Sunday, you just do not know what's going to come up. You just do not know what the challenges are going to be that day, that week. So we don't script anything. That I'm just telling you guys right now, we don't script anything. We kind of have a framework in terms of what we're going to talk about maybe a couple seconds before I hit the record button. But this week, the major news that I had to text her about this week was the fact that we have Microsoft, companies that you heard of, Microsoft and Disney have announced some massive layoffs. Now, when it comes to Disney, I've given my take on this because Disney and ESPN have worked together. And if you guys can recall, a year ago, there was just a whole big thing about how they were laying off people, yet they had somebody like a Pat McAfee who had his own platform. They went and paid for Pat McAfee to be a part of ESPN, and they were laying off other personalities. And now you see that the same trend is happening with the TNT broadcast group. It's just the sports in general. It's going to streaming platforms, and if you're not in that world, you're kind of a dinosaur and stuff like that. So what happened was, if you're not up on the news, as a matter of fact, let me just put it on the screen now. What happened was it became announced that Disney and Microsoft, let me get the right thing. Disney and Microsoft have announced some huge corporate layoffs. And what I was actually started talking about this right before we started recording. I'm not going to read the entire article for you guys, but I do want to make sure I put this in context when I'm going to have Kimberly kind of speak on this a little bit. But the line in this article that I want you guys to really pay attention to, all right, the two paragraphs is, though many companies decline to provide specific reasoning for announced workforce reductions, instead lumping the layoffs in with larger cost-cutting strategies or growth plans, tech leaders are starting to cite artificial intelligence as a clear consideration in hiring and headcount reductions. Klarna CEO told CNBC of May 14th, the Finec tech company has shrunk its headcount 40%, in part due to investments in AI. Man, listen, okay. So as you guys, if you're a regular around here, you know we talk about this stuff literally every week. We discuss it, we break it down. She has an unbelievable framework in terms of how to use it to make it so you keep your value. I'm just really kind of just curious on what your initial thoughts are when you hear that, and then we'll kind of tailor it from there in terms of what we need to express to people so they can really continue to add value.
Absolutely. And we've been talking about this since last year,
Yeah.
where we brought it up and
Yep.
I said, be ready to move,
Mm-hmm.
learn. It goes beyond chat GBT.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure you educate yourself and create a framework, because companies will not make it if they don't adapt to it. My take is it's happening. It's
Mm-hmm.
happening now. And so if you're not utilizing HR, you're going to, HR, AI, you need to go look and see what processes can you optimize in your business right now with using it, and then learn it,
Mm-hmm.
or hire somebody if you're not comfortable. The first thing you have to do, though, is you have to see how ready is your company to adapt to
Mm-hmm.
AI. Because if they're not ready, you're behind the eight ball. So you need to start now and get up to speed very quickly before the end of the year.
All right. So one thing, and then I have several things I want to comment on that. But the first thing I want you to break down for us, so not only for myself, but listeners as well. When you say systems that can optimize, when you say figuring out how you can optimize,
Hmm.
the thing that really struck me about this actual report was the fact that they have business owners have realized, or big companies have realized, that they can have AI do their coding. Now, coding was big business. Coding was major business. There are people who were, I mean, if you can code, you go to school. In fact, I'm at my cousin's house now, and he's in the tech world. So I made sure I chatted with him before we got on. And he was saying how the tech industry now, if you just go in there and you just can code, or you could just do certain things and you're expecting some major contract that's going to last you a while, those days are done. So when you're talking about systems that you can optimize, can you just break that down a little bit for anybody that may be tuning in that may be a little fuzzy in terms of what you mean by that?
Sure. So think about, before you would need IT coders and different roles right like that. Now what
Hmm.
the big position that you need to learn Python. That's one of the biggest ones. There's a lot more like Snowflake, but
Hmm.
reporting. So it's data scientists. They want to drill down, and they don't need a person necessarily to do that. But for all of those things, so you think about the reporting or inventory management, even all you have to do is put it into a system that can code your inventory and have real time updates instead of having people go and count it every single month or 6 months, quarter, whatever that looks like. It
Hmm.
can be automated. They scan when they come in the door, it scans when it goes out, it scans throughout the building.
Hmm.
So no matter what you're doing, especially that reporting, inventory management, those are the two of the biggest ones that come to mind. There are a
Hmm.
lot more. Customer service is another one
Hmm.
that could be automated. So we're different areas of the business can definitely be optimized with it.
Okay, so there's two angles now that we're gonna have to break this down from. We've kind of started already talking about the business owner's perspective, and it's really not, as speaking as a business owner myself, it's not really that complicated. No matter what happens, our focus is on what's going to make us the most sales. Our focus every single day
Mhm.
is what's going to create the value for the people, the buying customers, the buying shareholders. Anybody that has any inkling or has any ability to run a business knows I don't care what the new thing is. It could be Facebook, it could be MySpace, it could be damn Google. They don't
Did you
care.
say MySpace?
I did. Yes, I said MySpace too. It doesn't matter what it is. In their mind, what's going to lead to most sales, right? So I want to transition this though a little bit because I'm still kind of fresh off what my cousin was telling me in terms of he went to school for tech. He went to school to be a graphic designer. He went to school to do
Mhm.
these things. And the video I had sent you with Anton Daniels, there is a company I used to use quite a bit called Fiverr to do all my graphic design and stuff like that. I haven't used them in
Oh
well
yeah.
over a year because they're dead now. I don't need to anymore. I created a lot of these things through ChatGPT. So when you are talking to now that young college age kid, the high school age kid that has a passion, like one of the things he was just telling me, actually, he goes, I have a passion for tech. I have a passion for computers. I just like the way it works. So there's hard drives. There's certain things that still are needed from the human brand. What
Mhm.
advice do you necessarily give the high school kid coming in now that has a passion for getting into tech, but they are maybe going into coding and not realize, man, I'm actually selling myself short. Maybe cybersecurity is something I need to maybe focusing on hard drives. What kinds of things are you explaining to them as they're on the come up now to make themselves more valuable? Because the jobs are gonna go in they're gonna go down. They're not gonna go up. Not like it was when
Mhm.
especially when I was in college.
That is an automation that could take place. So they
Hmm.
really don't need a human to make those on an assembly line, right? So you
Hmm.
need to go further than that. Just to say, I like computers. Okay, what do you like for computers? What
Hmm.
is it that you want to do? If you go to ChatGPT right now and type in top five automated or AI careers that you could do it right now. Put it on the screen. Top
Okay.
five careers in AI.
All right. Let's
It's
see.
going to be
All right.
mostly based on around data scientists and being able to create AIs because every company out there does it.
Hold on 1 second. So, and that's actually on this point. Before I do this, I want to make sure I'm on the record saying this. But so I have two screens right now. One that is Google Chrome that is able to use ChatGPT, and my Safari one is not able to use ChatGPT. So even in terms of the type of browsers you're using, all of that makes a difference as well. So I have to kind of flip what I'm doing and make it so I'm sharing. I'm not just sharing the Safari screen. Now I have to go and share the screen that we're on now. And that's another point. Everything is going to be based on what you're able to do. All right, cool. So boom, All right, so can you see it now?
Yeah, I can see it. Mhm.
Yeah, so I had to literally flip from what I normally do because of the fact that hey, I guess
Can't use
Safari
it.
hasn't
You're right.
caught up with the Chat GPT yet. So anyway,
There you go.
what was the prompt you said?
Top 5 careers
Mm-hmm.
in AI.
It'll be a whole lot. It'll be a
Now,
whole
usually
lot
it would put more words into it, but I want to see what it comes up with.
careers. It'll be a whole lot easier if I could spell careers. That'd be nice.
I do
Uh,
the same thing when I'm sharing
yeah,
my screen. You're like, how do you spell
CARE.
that?
Yeah. In tech, you said
Not AI.
top 5 careers in AI. Machine learning engineer. That's number one. AI research scientist. Data scientist with a AI specialization. AI
Mhm.
product manager and computer vision engineer. Okay. uh Go.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
I
it
would
hit
love to
every
comment on
bullet
this,
point.
but all right, I'll give. And then here's what's crazy: is you see Python, you see these things that you just mentioned. So machine learning engineering built to optimize algorithms that allow machines to learn data. AI research scientists conduct cutting edge research in artificial intelligence, but contributing to academic paper. Oh my goodness gracious! Now you're talking about not actually doing your own papers.
Oh,
Data
that is already happening, by the
right.
way. Yep.
Derive insights, build models to support AI systems, bridge the gap between technical teams and business goals, leading a computer vision engineer, building systems that can interpret. Uh, yeah, I kind
Okay.
of give you the floor there. I mean, what you had said before, it's crazy what you had said before because a lot of these things are coming up now
Hmm.
when you type it in.
So you see on the left hand side,
Mhm.
down and bring that back up and hit GPTs. See, it says Sora and then GPTs. Hit GPTs.
This?
Yep. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want you to type in there marketing. Click the first one. We got start chat. Say create an ad for my business. And just put whatever business you want. Put your business. Put Stay Hired Sunday.
Who's your target audience? Employers. What is the unique um, adding value to their business? Um, Google, yes, Google. Oh, actually, no, you want to go LinkedIn? LinkedIn, we've been getting a lot of love.
Just
Shout out
hit
to LinkedIn follows.
LinkedIn.
Yeah, professional. Actually, I'd say casual.
Hmm.
Um, Call to action is to
Just sign up now. That's fine.
yeah, sign up now. It's fine.
Because we're just doing it for an example.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and then creative visual. I usually do the creative visual.
Yeah. Or create an ad design. Create a visual ad design.
Create a visual ad design.
Hmm. So it just breaks everything down for you. And
Yeah, I mean, I
this,
used to pay for this kind of stuff. Like, this is what I'm trying to tell
right,
you guys.
right. And so when you're talking about someone, graduating college or high
Hmm.
school going into college. What do you want to do? There's somebody behind this to create all of these GPTs. But
Right.
when you go in and hit GPT, literally you could put write my English paper for me, talking about the kids, and
Hmm.
it'll write the English paper on whatever you say. It gives you these prompts, right?
Hmm.
And and it's very thoughtful and detailed. And then what it delivers you is amazing. So, you can do anything you want from marketing to school to uh, your ads. All your ads are white papers or books.
Hmm.
Even authors are using this.
Create mobile version. Yeah. So I mean, I won't put you guys through the whole thing, but I'll just let you know. Even with me, I just put this out yesterday. My shop, there was a point where I would have had to pay someone to do this, but now I have shirts for sale that say Wintrepreneur. The whole thing, all of the visuals of it were created because I put in ChatGPT and I said, "Hey, wait, hold up, do you guys see it? Hold up, yeah, let me see if I can show it to y'all really, really quick, just for the sake of time here."
Hmm.
There it is. All right. So yeah, I mean, if you go here, you see now Wintrepreneur Tees, all of this, the mock-ups and all that. I would actually have paid someone in the past to do it, but once I realized I can use AI to generate these images, boom, you have a product right there for sale.
Yep.
So I brought this up because I want to make sure we're on the record and we're explaining to people that it doesn't there's a way that the human brain has to already think, and this is why I mentioned for business owners,
Yes.
your mentality has to be like, what exactly is going to lead to profit, what's going to lead to getting the word out there about my stuff, my thing, whatever it is I'm doing, and then you can approach it in the right way. So it really does kind of just boil down to mindset in general, and what kind of
Hmm.
mindset do you have towards learning new things. You've got to be open-minded. You've got to make sure you're doing things that are going to be in the best interest of your business, and then figure out the right person to bring in. So I'll bring up the questions. I actually put it in ChatGPT, the 5 questions to ask, and I will bring those up if I could find them. Yes, let me go back. And unless you want, I'll let you kind of chime in if you want to talk about anything before we get to the questions today.
Oh, go ahead. I'm ready.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it right into it. All right. Number one, how can I balance cost cutting with employee morale and retention? Morale is a tough one. I recommend you hire someone like myself or Kimberly to make sure there's a human connected to the new world that we're living in, all right, the new systems that are in place. Because what I've learned by having multiple jobs and working with so many different businesses that have gone under is the morale loses because the owner stops growing. The morale loses because the owner has set it in their mind, look, this is how we make money, this is going to keep people happy. But I have forgotten about the people that are underneath, and they want this to kind of just be a means to an end, and they've forgotten about the professional development. They've forgotten about the importance of connecting with folks and what they want to do and what they want to do with their check and stuff like that. So you can't you can't do this one on your own. You have to outsource this part of it.
Yep. So I'll tell you, not a lot of people, even though they may think they're communicative or
Hmm.
change makers, I can assure you, if you're in it, you're not, because you have to have that framework.
Hmm.
And not to say anybody's a poor communicator, but when you are working towards transformation of any kind and growing,
Yeah.
that's where your mindset is, right? How am
Right.
I doing on this project? But then all of the employees are like, well, what's going on? So have somebody like you or I that can say, this is what's going on. The employees want to know, right? This is what's happening. This
Right.
is where we're going. It's a map. This is where we're going, and have communication stages, but put it out there. This is the team that is working on this change. This is the team that is working on this change, right? So
Right.
very clear, concise communication,
Hmm.
and someone that will be your cheerleader, right? Your change maker that will bring people and have open communication, because that's the only way to do change management.
Right. Number two, which roles are critical to keep even during tough times, and which might be automated or restructured? I will. This is a really for
Oh,
me at least simple one is who's making more sales. All right, I just now again I think it's going to be based on every single company and every single thing that a person needs. But it's who's really making more sales. You would have to get to know every single person to know who's the most valuable. Perfect example. I'm at a Starbucks right now, and I walked in there and I asked for just a cup of water, right? And the person said, "Are you making a purchase too?" Because that's technically the rule. So I ended up buying one of these, and it's all because the person asked, "Are you also making a purchase?" And that's someone that's committed to what the rules are. The rules are, if the rules at Starbucks are you can't just go in there and get a free cup of water, and you're just giving free cups of water, then you're hurting. You're not only hurting yourself, but you're hurting the business in general. So when it
yes.
comes to the roles, you got to do a real solid vetting process and a real inventory in terms of who you have working these positions that seem like they're not taking it seriously because they're not making a lot or this, that, and the third. If you're really in business, you need to find the people like I just mentioned and said who's gonna make sure somebody gets one of these and not just break the corporate rules that no one would know really.
Do you not have a black coffee rifle shop near you?
Say what?
Do you have the Black Rifle coffee shop near you?
The black? No, I haven't heard of that. No, what is it?
Oh my God. The
Black Rifle
best
Coffee?
coffee. Yes, it's the best coffee in the universe. But anyway, sidebar.
Huh? You just made
So,
me look it up now. Okay, let me see if they got it.
so I will tell you that,
What?
see, it's amazing. Amazing coffee. So,
Oh
I'm
man,
sitting
yes.
here
Oh,
thinking
yeah, I can see why you like it. Actually, I don't mean to cut you off, but I can see why you like it. This is veteran. It looks like
it's
it's veteran for
it's
veterans.
veteran owned. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. So I'm sitting here thinking when you said, the person that makes more sales, right?
Uh huh.
And I was actually thinking about this week at my job, and I was like, what? Because you got to be forward thinking all the time. If you're not,
Hmm.
you're going to lose. So
Yes.
I'm going to ask you a question. How do you
Yes.
think HR could bring money? Because revenue generating, right? Some positions are not revenue generating.
Yes.
So how do you think HR could be revenue generating?
I think it is teaching people how to cut costs on things that are not actually producing a profit. So if let's
Mm,
say a company like at the school I teach at, one of the things that they did was they spent money to buy like shields for the cafeteria. So when it's closed, they don't see the food. You can close the whole thing up. I would tell a business owner, save your damn money and put that into something that's actually going to produce a result. Like maybe put that into some employee development, something that's actually going to produce the results you want. Just putting shields or even putting a like one of these little umbrellas here, it's a great investment, but there's no actual ROI that is associated with that.
okay. I mean, that's a good one,
Hmm.
helping the company save money, which
Right.
absolutely they should.
Hmm.
So what I thought of for revenue generating is
Hmm.
creating an institute where leadership skills and other things are taught
Hmm.
and different levels, entry, mid, for career levels, entry, mid, and then executive level leadership workshops that would be for internally, but then also externally, and there's a charge to it both ways for the employee and for the external customers. And
Hmm.
so that revenue comes in from the institute classes or workshops. So
Yeah.
that's just one of the ideas because you
That
can
I
be an
mean,
external facing,
yeah.
HR.
I think well that's again if you're serious about staying hired. I've always because as an entrepreneur this is just the way I think. I've always taken jobs with the idea of how do I make the company whatever they're paying me, how do I make them that money back based on what I do. That's always been my
Mm,
mentality from day one. Like,
me
whatever
too.
job it is, I get offered, I get that I don't have to, but the mentality from day one because of the football world I come from, you have to earn your keep. You've got to earn what
Right.
the hell it is you're paying for. So my mentality is, okay, how do I make them back whatever it is, even if it's not a sales position per se, you got to figure out how do you make them that money back? Without that mentality, you're on the chopping blocks, folks. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you. All right. The schooling is great. But if there's anything, if there's anything we got to learn from this is you spending an extra, what, 100K on extra schooling and getting a master's and getting a doctorate and all that. That is great for your ego. That is great. But the minute you leave that position and now you're walking into companies saying, hey, I'm earned a salary of 100K because I have a doctorate. It's like, okay, I could train somebody else, pay them maybe 95K, and they're going to earn the extra 5K together. That's the mentality we were. And you spent all that money on school when somebody was actually getting a real life education. What you going to do? So, that's what it is in this world. I mean, we grew up we're in the DMV and, it's politics. So we heard a lot of it. But that mentality, I've actually heard when I was at LA Fitness, I've heard them say stuff like that to where make an investment in your company by going and paying for a shirt, an LA Fitness shirt that you can market while you're working out. And, those small things will show you who's really proven and who's really going to be there. So I know I went on a rant there, but you spark something. You do it every week. Spark something. All right. So number 3, what are the warning signs of consumer demand softening, and how should I adjust staffing accordingly? Oh man.
If your sales are down,
yeah, the sales
if
are
your
down.
sales are down, right?
Period. Point blank. End of discussion. If the sales are down,
That's pretty
then
easy.
that's a clear sign. Quick story on the football end. Again, I have a lot of football stories, but there was the late Jerry Richardson. He was the owner of the Carolina Panthers. And you remember they started recently, like 96 was their inaugural season. And he did an interview where he was asked, I think it was Charlie Rose. They asked him, how do you know if your team's doing well? And he goes, not that hard. Just look up in the stands. No one's here.
That's it.
We're not doing well, obviously.
Right.
All right, number 4. Let's get to
That's true. But see, that goes for anything. So if
yeah.
you're not getting the admissions, if you're not selling the tickets, if you're not, so look at your P&L, you're going to be able to tell.
Yes. All right, number 4, how can I offer support or transition options for employees impacted by workforce reductions?
Oh, I love
I'll let you take that one. Go
transition. Yeah. I just created something over the last couple of weeks called TAP, and it's a transition program. Because unfortunately, do companies owe an employee something when they leave? No.
No.
But when you just throw people out the door and don't give them actual resources, then your company is going to get a reputation for people not wanting to work in this. So it's going to hurt you in the long run because people aren't going to apply for jobs, right? And so, offering the resources does not have to be so costly. If you work for a university, then you have a ton of people that are experienced, whether it's a resume workshop, whether it's training, whether it's an employee assistance program. There's so many different things, and you can create a framework that anybody that's laid off, that they get this. They get this program that you put into place. If you need help doing that, I can help
Yes.
you, but it does not have to cost a lot of money to get it started. And then you can add on and build onto it as long as you have that framework.
That one pretty much covers it. I have nothing to add with that one. So number 5, what strategies can I use to protect key talent and avoid repeated turnover cycles? Go back in this recording and listen to the example of why I bought this. All right. Those are the strategies. All right. You have got to be so absolutely maniacally focused on your numbers to know you have a certain amount of cups. All right. I'll repeat the example just real quick because I'm at a Starbucks. I was going to go in there, just get some water. The lady asked me, are you making a purchase too? That's the only way you can give a free cup of water. And instead of getting the water, I decided to get one of these energy drinks. All right. So if you want to keep a talented person like that, you have to know exactly how many numbers of cups are in each damn store. And then you have to know if somebody gave out a free cup of water because the math isn't mathing. I do not suggest you do this on your own, but it's something you need to ask someone to do. You actually, a store manager, whoever it is, track the number of damn cups so I know if somebody's giving out free water and not getting a return on that. That is important.
I think what you said is a great example, but I'm reading it as, how do I keep my talent that I already have and don't keep turnover, right? So
Hmm.
to me, how you keep your talent is keep them engaged,
Hmm.
train them,
Yes.
find out what they want and how it aligns with the business and give it to them,
Hmm.
you know, do those things because if they're bringing you value and you want to keep them, then do the things to keep them. How do
Yes.
you want to be treated when you're
Yeah.
with a company? So,
Yeah.
what drives your employees is what you need to find out what it is first, and everyone's going to be different.
Right. And you have to do that now because the more people see their value, the less they're going
Yes,
to want a job. I mean, I'm
right.
speaking this is
Yes.
my life, literally my life. I'm speaking it to you in existence. And the more talented I realize I am in terms of the kids, the teaching, all that, the less that I want to actually have to deal with working for somebody. It just is one of those things. It's like, why when
Yep.
you're that talented at what you do? So,
Mm.
all that being said,
When
we have
you,
reached.
yeah,
Oh, good. Go.
I was just say when you have that talent and you know the value that you're bringing,
Hmm.
if you don't show, because you could say people can say, "Hey, you're great," but if you don't show they're great, then they're gonna leave.
They're gonna leave,
So
and they'll feel
show them
underappreciated,
they're
and
great.
they will. They'll
Right.
feel they will move on. So, all that being said, we have reached the 30 minutes marks, and again, we're here every single Sunday. Tap in with us. I appreciate the support. We are going places. Be sure you're liking, comment, subscribing to this channel. Cannot believe we're already halfway into 2025. 2026 is going to be absolutely unbelievable. Trust me when I tell you, there's certain things that are happening in my own life that is going to make this platform incredibly great. So, appreciate you, Kimberly, as always. We'll talk more soon, guys.
See you next time.